How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Will,
What up?
it's Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, dude.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. You know, last night I feel like we got a Father's Day special.
Yeah.
Watching dad and son on the same card, which we'll discuss a little bit later, I guess. But yeah, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
All the dads out there, keep doing your thing.
Keep doing your thing.
Keep being a dad.
Hopefully we have some dads join us while we're live. You know, just got the notification. Have you called your dad yet, Will?
I have not. I doubt he's awake.
I called my dad because I was like, you know what, I gotta talk to my pops and let him know that we're on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Remind him to like and subscribe if he likes our content, if he's not already subscribed. Actually, you know, honestly, not even sure if he goes on YouTube. Now that I think about it.
Doesn't matter. He can still subscribe.
He can still subscribe. Social media, Will?
Yeah, at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter. We have a group chat on Facebook for the fights, and that's called
Story of the Fight chat. For sure. Yeah, and if you like our content like we talked about, just make sure you like, subscribe, hit the little notification button so whenever we go live or whenever we upload anything new, you get notified. And check out some of the old episodes. Last week we talked about Brandon Moreno and his rise to become champion. Dude, I was so high off that for like most of the week.
Yeah.
I was texting you and Jordan. I was letting you guys know. I was like, dude, why have I listened to his entrance song like 50 times? So the family and I drove to Florida. I'm on vacation this week. Yeah, so we got to spend some time on the beach. And
brought your whole garage with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not there anymore. But definitely listen to his walkout song. And my son's like, Dad, can we listen to the song again for the guy that collects Legos? And I'm like, the Lego collector. Yes.
Dude, that's
Brandon
honestly,
Moreno.
dude, that's I know Dana's always been trying to find that like Mexican fighter that they can like really sell MMA in Mexico, right? Not only does he checkmark that, but dude, like the youth, like that's a whole nother lane that they can market to now.
Dude, yeah, well, like, that's how my son knows him. He knows him as a Lego collector.
Yeah, exactly. You know how many like as lame as this is, you know how many kids are watching boxing right now because of Jake Paul and Logan Paul? Because their whole fan base is children. You know what I mean? So like that's a huge market. Now the UFC has somebody that kids know them as a Lego guy. You know what I mean? So like
there's got to protect him at all costs.
Big markets. Yeah.
We just got to protect him at all costs, man. But yeah, we had
Matt Schnell title fight.
Hey, if everything falls into place for Matt Schnell, you know what I mean? Let's do it. Yeah. I'll watch it. So last night we had a decent amount of fights, man. For anybody that's a combat sports fan,
so many fights.
Yeah,
three boxing events and a UFC card.
Yes,
that's crazy.
A lot going on now. Did we have a moment of silence though for the UFC card?
Yeah, it's a quick one. Tyson Nam versus Tagir Ulanbekov.
Oh, Ulanbekov, yes, of course.
Drew. And the big one for me, Tim the Dirty Bird Means versus Danny Roberts, was supposed to be on this card. Roberts withdrew. I'm not sure why. They couldn't get something for Tim Means. Super bummed because I love Tim Means. Would have been so cool to see him, dude. Because this card was so crazy. Imagine a Tim Means fight on it. Also, I mean, he's never in a boring fight.
It was such a fun card.
Yeah, really.
It was really fun card from top to bottom. There's something going on now. After this card, though, the first thing that we want to cover though will be Anderson Silva, the Spider Anderson Silva versus Chavez Jr.
Yeah,
dude. So this was an interesting fight. I mean, first of all, look at when you show up in that much camo.
Yeah.
To your press conference. I mean, I don't know already.
Yeah. Yeah, already,
Doubts right away.
Doubts right away. Missed weight again for this
Again.
fight. Stoked that he did though, because Anderson gets another $100,000 because of
Yep.
that. Dude, watching this live, I was like glued. I was like smiling. I was so happy. I was just like, how is this what's happening? I mean, granted, Cesar Chavez Jr. is past his prime. His prime was short-lived. You can say all you want to say about the opponent that he fought, but the reality is he just boxed at 46 years old, boxed a former champion who is 35 years old and looked phenomenal. He looked so good.
He did.
And the
His footwork,
commentary,
man.
the commentary, man, it was so good. Normally I despise boxing commentary, but dude, the commentary for this, they were giving Anderson his dues. They were like so in the moment and like present with what was happening in the fight and like reacting to what's happening in the fight. It was fucking awesome. It was so cool. I
It was
thought
a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was just a great. It was just perfect. It was so good.
There was some cheesiness in there, when he
Yeah,
was like, the Spider Anderson Silva spinning a web to capture Chavez Jr. And I was like, okay, I can do without. I can do without. But, it was so much fun to watch. Chavez is naturally a super middleweight, right? They usually weighs in at 168. So Anderson is usually the bigger man. But still, this is somebody that's been boxing since they've been in diapers.
Yeah, and dude.
What kind of headspace did Chavez Jr. come in with, though? Again,
I mean, that's every
number
one,
one, too much camo.
Yeah.
Number two, misses weight. Number three, kept on looking at the ref so often to see if the ref was noticing headbutts, forearms, elbows. And it's like, dude, you're in a fight. And I think at one point the commentary was even like, stop doing that, Chavez Jr. This is boxing. You're allowed to get hit in the face. They're allowed to punch you in the face. So it was frustrating for a lot of folks that have been following Chavez Jr. for quite some time.
Listen, man, that's a life of frustration.
But so
you're a Chavez Jr. fan. You're just frustrated, perpetually frustrated. This
boxing group on Facebook as well, and they were talking about it, and they were talking some shit about Chavez Jr. And one of the things I posted on there is imagine having to grow up in the shadow of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time.
The guy's a god.
He's a
god.
It's like people giving Michael Jordan's son a hard time for not going pro. And in this case, Chavez had a decent career, man. If he wasn't
he really did.
Chavez Sr.'s son,
he's shown glimpses of like real talent. The guy's very talented. It's just
can get out of his own way.
Yeah. It's just
tough.
It's all mental stuff.
It is. It is.
But it was nice to see. I mean, I don't think there was an ounce of drug testing for this event, but
probably not. You know what? And who cares?
I was okay with that because Anderson, dude, watching Anderson take shots from, dude, MMA fighters hit hard, right? But the technique of striking, especially, I mean, obviously with punches, but the technique that boxers have is leagues different. You know what I mean? Like, and he was eating shots that I was like, dude, if this was in an MMA fight, he's done. If this was in the UFC, I should say, he's done just from that one punch. But
was it the hard left that came in?
A couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times. But then, dude, Anderson in the corner with his hands down and he's dodging shit. I was like,
classic Silva.
Fuck, man. And like you could tell, man, that like I would have loved to see him, because remember when they were trying to make him fight? They were trying to line up his fight
with Jones.
Yeah. I would have loved to see it just because I think Anderson, pure boxing, man, in his prime could have actually done something.
Yeah.
Whoa. Bring that back up.
What? Bring what back up?
George, look at the screen.
Manuel Marquez versus Chavez. Oh, yeah, over Chavez Sr. Well, it's hard for me to say that, dude. I grew up, again, the time that I was growing up, it was just all Chavez Sr. You know what I mean? That's all I remember watching him beat some of the best out there. To me, like you said, he was a god, dude. I would be so excited when my dad would tell me we're going over to our friend's house.
Yeah.
Because he had it on his giant TV. You know, it was like a 50-inch TV, and we all thought it was the biggest TV in history. Rear projection television, and Chavez Sr. was fighting. You know, it was an event. People tuned in. So that's what I grew up watching, man. Giovanna says there's not such things, too much camo. I'm sorry, there is. Yeah. And Chavez Jr. just proved that.
Unless you're in the woods, that's too much.
Oh, man. But, watching this too, I won't cover the Chavez Sr. fight because I didn't watch too much of it. Like I said, I have some very fond memories of Chavez Sr., and I don't want to remember him any other way.
Yeah.
But I did see the end, and he's giving props to Canelo. And the way that he talked about Canelo, I'm like, he loves this guy more than Chavez Jr. And I felt so bad because Chavez Jr. is in the back right now with his head down.
To a 46-year-old MMA fighter.
With his head down, just knowing he disappointed his dad so bad on his card. And here he is, like, hugging Canelo, being like, I think Canelo is the best Mexican fighter ever. Like, this is Chavez Sr. saying this about Canelo, and props to Canelo. But I felt so bad at that point for Chavez Jr. I was like, oh, that guy's just torn up inside right now in the back somewhere.
Yeah. Man, how about one of the judges gave it to Chavez Jr. When they read that out, I was like, oh man, here we go with this.
What'd you score it?
I'm not going to do the math, but I had 6-2 Anderson.
Okay.
I thought Chavez Jr. won 2 rounds.
I had it 77-75 for
what is that,
Anderson.
Is that 3 rounds for Chavez Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's arguable. You could argue 3.
It was fun though, man. It was fun,
Dude,
and
awesome.
it was competitive. And
it really was.
Especially the first couple rounds when Chavez Jr. still had some gas in the tank.
Yeah.
But dude, you would think that we'd be talking about no gas in the tank for the 46-year-old Anderson Silva.
Dude, he looked great.
And instead, he was taking all those Brazilian supplements, and he looked fantastic.
Yeah, dude, and the commentary was just like, the commentary reminded me, they like vocalized how I felt growing up watching MMA.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, he looks like he hasn't even been touched. Like, they're just so surprised, right? And I was like, dude, this was my childhood watching Anderson, like, childhood. Watching Anderson, like, dude, you go, Chael Sonnen beats him up for 4.5 rounds. A
majority of the fight, let's be real here.
Yeah, for 24 minutes. And at the end of the fight, you look at them, and Anderson doesn't even look like he was in a fight. Like, even when he did get hit, he just never showed anything. And the guy was untouchable, man. And, like, watching them react to that and being like, this is great. Like, look at him. He's moving around. Like, and it was like, dude, this is – so many people just, like, got – because Anderson was massive, right, for UFC. But, like, the amount of people that were watching during his prime just don't – it's different than how many people are watching the UFC now. There's a lot of UFC fans now that probably don't really get all the hype with Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? Like, there's a ton of people who don't understand the hype behind BJ Penn. I'm sure Anderson is at that level because if you watch his recent fights, they're like, what's so great about this guy?
Yeah.
Right?
What was all the hype about him? Why is everybody talking about him like that?
But, man, during the time, it was just like, it was insane, man. And I was actively rooting against him, because you want to see him get beat. Who can beat him, right?
Yeah.
But then
Chael
you look
Sonnen
back
beat him.
fondly. Not once, but you like look back and it's like you look back at it fondly, even if you were rooting against him during the fights, because I wanted Forrest Griffin to beat him so bad.
We witnessed greatness.
It. Yeah, man. When you bring up Michael Jordan and you bring up like dude,
Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Yeah, like there's these people that are just like phenoms of the sport that like. They're above the sport, right? And no one's even close. And that was Anderson, dude, at the time. Like, I know I usually go with GSP as the GOAT, right? Because, for a number of reasons. But Anderson's the only one that had that factor. GSP was in tough fights, right? He lost to Matt Hughes. He lost to Matt Serra. The fight with Johnny Hendricks was tough. The Condit fight he was in trouble. Anderson during his run at least, it was like so far ahead of everybody. It's like it's just so special, man. So to see him at 46 years old finally get a professional boxing fight and just like excel at it was so fucking cool. Regardless of if Chavez Jr. was whatever, past his prime, doesn't have any motivation, all that. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff.
I feel like right now you see the evolution of MMA, and a lot of these fighters are coming up with the evolution.
Yeah.
At that time, I feel like Anderson Silva had evolved, and the sport was trying to catch up to him.
Yeah, it was a sport of tough guys, and then Anderson was way ahead of everybody. You know, Rich Franklin, Chris Lieben, Forrest Griffin, all these guys that like just get through with their toughness, right? And I mean, they're talented, obviously, but like not like Anderson. You know?
He was a whole nother level for sure.
Yeah, it was so special to watch.
Now switching over to UFC, MMA, we had Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige main event. What'd you think?
I think the card leading up to this made this fight maybe a little bit lackluster to some people. I saw people saying it was the main event didn't deliver based off the last fights of the card. I disagree. I thought it was fucking awesome. I loved this fight. It's not one that I'm gonna go like back and rewatch all the time or anything like that. But dude, it was a tough fight. It was a tough fight.
Yeah, I think to myself, is this going to be a fight that I put on Rich the Casual's list of must-watch fights for him to become a fan? Which I don't. By the way, I don't think he's watched one yet. But hey, Richard Casual, did you catch any fights last night? No? I'll take that as a no.
My man, it is NBA playoff season. The Bucks took on the Nets in Game 7 last night. Kevin Durant was going ham. James Harden was limping around. I couldn't break away. I apologize. But hey, off season. It's almost here. 2.5 weeks, maybe a month at the most, and I'll have none to do on Saturday night.
So Richard Casual committing to NBA offseason as the time that he'll start watching some fights.
Off season, baby.
All right, but
MMA never stops. NBA stops in the end of the summer.
That's true. That's very true. But this is definitely not a fight that we'll be putting on Richard Casual's list of fights to watch.
Dude, you know what's weird? I could name you like every baseball team, right, and every football team, but basketball I can't. And like, there's a team called the Nets. Imagine if there was like a team called like the Field Goals. Like,
wait, what?
Like, why is there a team called the Nets? It's like the dumbest name. Imagine if there was a team called like the Home Plates.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Nice way to look at it. Yeah, there should be an MMA team called the Gloves. I see where you're going with this. It's
just kind of weird. I don't know.
But man, Korean Zombie in this fight for me just showed that there's different levels to this game. We've mentioned it before with different fighters, different fights. Yeah. But Ige coming in the 8th ranked fighter. Korean Zombie coming in the 4th ranked fighter. He's been at the top of his division for such a long time, highly regarded, and he showed why last night. That there's different levels to this game.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because after this card, I was like, cool, this card ended early. I'm gonna make the thumbnail and the title for this video right now. But then I watched the Anderson fight, and I was like, well, I'm gonna change the thumbnail and I'm gonna change the title. But originally it was instead of the Spider Defies, it was there's levels because Ige's tough as hell, man, and he's got a nice record on him, like with his opponents. And I love watching him fight. He's exciting. He is very talented. But there's that upper echelon that you need to be able to get past. And man, Korean Zombie just showcased like such good fight IQ. His fight IQ is so good, man. Knowing when to shoot, knowing
the timing on his takedowns were phenomenal.
God. And he talked about it. He's like, I can't just be the Zombie. I can't just come in here and like go to war every single time. Like I need to start like focusing on winning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he did that, and he didn't just like point fight. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to win. He was trying to finish, I fucking love the Korean Zombie, man. I was so happy. So do I.
But by the way, I put this up on Instagram to see who the followers thought was going to win, and 75% said Korean Zombie, so 75% of them had it right. And Ige actually came in the favorite into this fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say the poll I think is a better indication of. I know it's who wins tonight, but people see that as who do you want to win?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. Because dude, Korean Zombie has a big following.
He has a huge following, man, for a good reason. He's fucking awesome. Did you hear what he said about the second round?
What?
Dislocated his shoulder shooting on a takedown in the second round and then popped it back in. Same one that got dislocated against Aldo back in the day.
Ooh.
And that's why he stopped throwing as much. He said his jab was feeling like not as good, not as strong.
Eesh. Toughness, man, a whole nother level.
In the later rounds, you can see him with his lead hand down and like pull countering with his right hand a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably because his arm was a little jacked up, not feeling right.
Yeah, we'll cover more jacked up arms later on as well.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else to say about this fight?
All three judges gave Dan Ige the first round.
It was close. I thought it was close.
I thought it was close until Korean Zombie took him down and took his back and controlled him for 2 minutes, and then was winning the stand-up after that pretty handedly. It was close up until that takedown, but then after the takedown, it was like all Korean Zombie. He took his back. And he gives the round to Ige. In a close stand-up, took his back for 2 minutes.
Depends on who's judging, I guess, huh?
Sal D'Amato, Derek Clearly, Mike Bell.
All you had to say, dude, you had me at Sal D'Amato.
Yeah. Derek Clearly
at Sal D'Amato. Before this, though, we had Olenek versus Spivak.
Yeah, or if you're Dominic Cruz, Spivak, even though everybody's been saying his name the whole fight.
Hey, off night for Dom Cruz, okay? Off night.
Man, really off night.
Another one.
Yeah.
Dude, can we just not put Bisping and Dom Cruz together?
I kind of like it because Bisping clowns on him super hard. He kind of puts him in his place. Everybody else lets Dominic Cruz be Dominic Cruz, and Bisping's like, cut that shit.
Well, I feel like it's just clash of the egos, and they're just taking these jabs at each other the entire time, and it's like it's not amusing. If you guys want to take these jabs at each other, to bring them back in line,
to just be like, "Hey guys, what the fuck are you doing?"
How many times does it say that? Hey, there's also a fight going on, guys. in the middle of the fight.
Dude, shout out Fitzgerald every single time. He's so good.
Yeah, I love Fitzgerald, man.
But
he needs to be on more often.
The difference was like clear to me, and this is probably just my bias and my personal opinion of what I like in commentary. But the Anderson Silva Chavez Jr. fight, like I said, they were so in the moment and talking about every moment that happened, every punch that was landing, like every action in the fight, they were talking about every time it happened. They'd be like, "Whoa!" They'd react to it, right? And this dude, there's just so like they're just not even like focused on it. You know, they're just talking about things. It seems like everybody wants to make their point instead of just. You're supposed to be relaying what's happening in the fight, you know.
Yep.
And dude, Cruz, Bisping, Anik, not a good combination. It just doesn't work for me at least.
No, I agree. Yeah. And man, Olenek, ultimate one-trick pony. Like we talked about Maya before.
Yeah.
But Olenek, I mean, ultimate one-trick pony.
To clinch.
Overhands, head down, hit the top of my head.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll come in and
I'll clinch you, and I'll pull you down.
Yes, at any means possible. Like holding on to his back, he's strong grips, just letting his weight go down. You know, just hoping like, hey, just let him sit on me right now, and then, dude.
And then I'll sub him. He came close in the first 2 rounds.
At the end,
if there was a minute left in the second round, he would have won. But there's not.
But you know what? I picked Olenek last night on my picks. Because I figured, he'd probably just come in with some of that experience and just kind of lay and pray, not do much, and try to sub him a few times. Yeah, but Spivak, man, he was able to, when he was getting clinched up against the fence, he had some really good movement, man, to get out,
really
from these bad positions.
Yeah, positional awareness from Spivak.
He made it look pretty easy.
He lost the first round on me, in my opinion. I thought he lost the first round. Second round, he was winning handedly. Until the end, and it was like, oh shit, man, Olenek's still always dangerous on the ground.
But I think that's when he was like, you know what, let me risk it because I'm winning this round pretty handily, definitely. And see if I can, do something the last 30 seconds. Yeah. But so Olenek, he's now 59-16.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the point where I used to be really excited to watch him fight. Now I just don't want to see him get beat up.
Yes,
You know,
I agree.
I used to be really excited to watch him fight, and now it's just like, please don't get beat up.
He's probably going to be falling out of the top 15 now after this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. He takes the ranking.
Let's see here. We have Georgia said Bisping, Rogan, Cormier, name better UFC commentary trio. Man, that's a pretty good trio.
Easy.
All right, name them.
Steven Quadros, Mauro Ranallo, Boss Rutan.
Oh, man.
The best team.
I think George is talking UFC, though. UFC commentary trio.
Name a better UFC commentary trio. Okay, George, I see you, dude.
Rogan, Cormier, and Anik for me is a really good trio.
For me, man, I just don't have a lot of options right now. Current guys. If we're doing current though, I would probably go Fitzgerald, Felder, Bisping is my favorite trio right now.
Oh, that's a pretty good one too.
Because Fitzgerald, I think, is an actual play-by-play guy. He keeps everybody in line when they go too tangential. Bisping, honestly, has had so many good reads lately of reading fighters and how the momentum is changing. Not so much like the crazy technical stuff like that Dominic Cruz likes to get into, but Bisping is like, I'm seeing this. This is the changing of the tides. Like, I think he's going to start, and usually he's right. And then Felder's pretty good in the booth, but where he really excels is the interviews. He's so good at interviewing fighters.
Yeah.
I think that's the team for me is Fitzgerald, Felder, and Bisping.
I would love to see Fitzgerald with Rogan and Cormier to see how he does.
Yeah. You know, as long as he can hold his ground in there, like
put him on a large card, put him on large pay-per-view,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see how he does. Why not? Why not? Do you have anything else though on Whispering Spivak?
No.
Dude, the post-fight interview.
Yeah.
And he goes all Ricky Bobby on us, and he's just whispering into the mic, and I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, you just won, dude. Like, let's put a little pep in that. Yeah.
You're ranked now.
Before that, did this win fight of the night?
Yes.
With Chito Vera?
As it should.
And Grant? Man.
As it should.
How's Chito only 28? I feel like he's been in the UFC since inception.
Yeah. He got in young for sure.
He got in very young. He reminds me very much of, like, every time that they put up Max Holloway's age, I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. He was in the UFC very early.
Yeah.
But, dude, a lot of power shots from Grant early.
Dude, what a fun fight, man.
It was an extremely fun fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, second round started coming around. And when we talked about the changing of the momentum, dude, it was so clear from the second round on. Those elbows.
Once he clinched, he had that single collar and was like, bah, bah, bah. I was like,
man.
Oh my God.
That was
so violent.
Awesome. But just a fantastic second round by Vera. And then the third round, I felt like was just super dominant. I think he got 10-8 in there, right? From somebody?
Two judges gave him 10-8 in the third, and he deserved it. He definitely deserved a 10-8.
That's Grant feeling the pain from one of those elbows afterwards.
And when he did it, it was like the flurry of elbows, and then instantly there's like blood. Like it's like, oh my God, dude. He just like opened him up, man.
Afterwards, he was talking about how he loves using elbows because he enjoyed watching John Jones fight.
John Jones, yeah.
And how he's so good with the elbows, and it cuts people up and stuff like that, and it breaks them when they start bleeding. And I was, God damn, Chito Vera is such a savage.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is, man.
Ecuadorian savage.
Yeah, and I think he kind of does, like the first round of his fights. It seems like he's making a lot of reads, and then after the first round is where and I'm not going to say he takes the first round off. It's hard though if you're going to make a bunch of reads on someone like Grant in the first round because he's going to come at you. So you're probably going to give that round away if that's what you're trying to do. But yeah, after that, the second round was like, you could see that it was a battle. And then towards the end of the round, it was like, okay, Chito Vera is starting to kind of take away or run away.
Got into really good rhythm. Mm-hmm. Started getting the timing down.
Yeah.
And, for me.
He's got a chin on him, man.
David Grant?
No, well, both of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, they both do. David Grant's no punk too, man. So I don't want, anybody that just started watching recently to think like, oh, this was just an easy cakewalk for Chito Vera. That he lost the first fight against Grant. It just goes to show how much he's improved. And since
Grant,
their first fight.
Yeah, I think Grant to that first round, a lot of guys wilt to that first round, and he runs away with it. But Cheeto's he's not going to do that. He has the tools to counter that.
Dude, pro boxing.
Yeah, this was another one we'll talk about a few times. But Dominic Cruz was saying in that first round that Cheeto was looking real gun shy. I don't think he understands what that means. He kept throwing away gun shy the whole night. And dude, being a counter fighter or making reads isn't being gun shy. Being gun shy is Tyron Woodley up against the cage for five rounds, not throwing any punches. That's gun shy. Looking for your spots and landing in those spots, that's not gun shy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't stand the guy.
Dom?
Yeah.
I know.
The more he's a commentator, the less I like him.
And I was really active on Twitter last night during the fights.
Oh, yeah?
Posting and stuff was going on. Yeah, and George was on there too, and that's one of the things we were talking about. Was just it was Nevro, our buddy
nice.
Nevro. Shout out Nevro, who's been listening to us for a while. But he was after the call out.
Oh yeah,
Dom Cruz, right? The response from Dom Cruz was like, "Hey, he's looking to move up on the rankings. I'm looking to fight up on the rankings as well." And it's just trying to. It's like, dude, come on, man. He's just such a snob, dude. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah,
can't stand him. Before that, we had Choi versus Arosa.
Yeah,
Sung Woo Choi.
I was like, man, is Arosa gonna pull off another upset? Probably not. But
I had picked Arosa.
Yeah,
I had picked Arosa. Yeah.
Because you look at his previous fights. He's been counted out. Sean Woodson and the Nate Landwehr fight. Tough fights. I think he was underdog in both of them. Same with this one. Not the case though. From the start, Choi striking and he found his range immediately. And I was like, well, he's gonna have to get a lucky counter in or something. But he's just too sharp.
So technically sound, man. And he kept on hitting him with the straight right, left hook. Straight right, left hook. Yeah. And if you would see, he would go in with that straight right. And as soon as the left hook starts going, the right hand is right back up. Yeah. I was just like, man, this guy's just so technically sound, man. So technically sound. And he got some power in those hands, man. Yeah.
That's got some power. Sharp, right? Because it's just he's punching through people. It's snappy. Yeah, he's dangerous, man. And you cannot fight him like Arosa tried to fight him. You can't stand at punching range and try to box with them.
Good stoppage too. Good stoppage, great Smith. Stoppage. I thought. Yeah. So.
Yeah, great stoppage. Once again, Choi though, I think you have to make it dirty and you have to make it grindy because you can't give him the space and the respect to land those technical that technical striking is obviously what you want to instill in a fighter, but at the same time, we've seen in his losses that he can't really adapt his striking to when it is a grinding, grueling fight. He needs that space. He needs the breaks to be able to land up his shots, that kind of stuff. So I think that's what we need to see from him. Because I could watch him stand at range and pick people apart all day, but he's not improving. You know what I mean? Yep. He can do that. We need to see him adapt.
But dude, I want to see Sung Woo Choi in there quickly, and a great post-fight interview too. He's talking about wanting to learn English so he can communicate more with the fans worldwide. Lets Bisping know that he's a big fan. Dude, just seems like a good guy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's funny after the knockout, and they're kind of waiting for the decision and stuff like that, and they're showing him in the corner and stuff, and he's just like trying to fix his hair, look all good. Bro,
hey, you got him, man. He knows he's about to get interviewed, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Before that, we had Turman versus Silva.
Yeah, this went exactly like everybody thought it was going to. No disrespect, Turman, but Bruno Silva had some hype going into this.
This was his debut, right?
Yeah.
So
UFC debut. Yeah.
One of the things that was frustrating for me last night, though, was there's so much fence grabbing.
Yeah, man. It's just
so much fence grabbing. And now I'll cover it again on another fight where I thought it was just ridiculous, but for really in almost every single fight.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you?
You're not getting any points deducted.
Yeah, why wouldn't you foul? There's no point not to.
But man, this shot right here, this is actually one of the things. Well, the shots from Silva while he was in Tremon's guard, gnarly. A lot of power in those shots. And I've been watching fighting for a very long time, like I said, since watching boxing with my pops when I was a kid, But the second when you see somebody's lights turn off, for me, is always a rough moment. And he ate a couple extra shots after that. It was tough. Yeah,
it was. And from the guard, it is crazy. The last time I think I've seen a knockout from the guard was Stipe versus Overeem.
Right? Yeah, the hammer fist.
Just
from Croatia,
from Ohio, but
Turman,
Turman was doing some cool, crafty shit off the fence.
Yeah,
he was getting that
trying to get the takedown.
Yeah, he'd get one hook in and then kick off with his other leg. Didn't quite work, but I thought
Zombie
that was
did
cool.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Zombie did the same thing. Yeah. Shout out to Tony. Fights with the boys. That's right, man.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us, Tony. Appreciate it. Brown versus Lima before that.
Come on. It's fucking awesome.
So
you love to see it.
Brown is noticeably slower.
Oh, yeah.
Noticeably slower. But they always say that the last thing to go in fighters is what?
Power.
That power, man. That power.
40-year-old dude at the end too, when he turns to the camera, he's like, "How's that for a 40-year-old bitch?"
Yeah.
To the camera. I was like, "Yeah, dude."
Fantastic.
Look at him, man.
He's
what
such
a great
savage.
fucking picture too, man.
He's gonna be one of those fighters that. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer? That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, probably not. Damn, man, probably not. You might have. They induct fights into Hall of Fame.
Look at that right
fight with Robbie Lawler, dude, just right on the button, man.
Right on the button.
Did you hear what he said after too?
What?
They were like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, you knew it was a pretty bad knockout, right? No follow-up shots, got the walk-off. And he's like, oh, I just didn't know where he was. He's like, I came up from throwing the punch, and I was like, where'd he go? And then the ref was in there. So, that's why there was no follow-up shots.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But, man,
I love the guy, man.
Even if he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, which I hope he does, but he's just going to be one of those fighters as soon as my son starts paying more attention to MMA, UFC, I'm going to say, hey, Matt Brown is one of the guys who was a staple in mixed martial arts for a while. We have to go back and watch some of his fights.
Dude, he's Diego Sanchez's elbow.
It's just a dog.
So many good fights, man. The Eric Silva knockout, Tim Means. Man, shout out to Jordan Mean. Remember him? Fuck, man. Old school.
Old school, for sure.
Yeah. Knocked out Mike Swick.
I mean, what's next for him now? We talked about it before, right? He's got a lot of fun fights still in him.
You know what he wants? What he said? He wants a few things. He said he wants the respect fight and the rematch with Damian Maia. Said he'd be into that to give him his retirement fight.
You know what? I like that.
I like it too. And he was like,
I like it.
He's like, I know it's the worst matchup for me stylistically, but I think I'm more equipped now to deal with that than I was the first time. Or Nick or Nate Diaz. And you know what? Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz. I'm down. Give Nick a fight to kind of, no disrespect to Matt Brown. Get his feet wet, get back into it. He hasn't fought in a long time. I don't want to see him fight like fucking Gilbert Burns or some shit right away. You know what I mean? So George fucking. I mean, yeah, I agree with George right there. Easy win for Maia. I think Maia probably beats him, but
the ageless wonder Maia.
Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz, I think is fucking awesome. And the way he calls out Nick Diaz is a way that I think Nick Diaz was respect too. It wasn't like I'll beat his ass. He wants to come back after all. It was just he's like, I'd be interested in those fights. Those guys are legends, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And Nick Diaz versus Matt Brown. And Matt Brown brings a style that Nick Diaz would want in a fighter. He's not trying to fight some wrestler. You know what I mean?
Nick Diaz too. Well, just the Diaz brothers in general. When they want to fight people, they want to fight people that have names. You know what I mean? Their names in the sport, and that they respect in return.
Yeah.
Right. When you see like Nate, when he called out Masvidal, it was after Masvidal's win, and he said, he's a real one. He's done it the right way.
When he
wanted to fight Leon Edwards, it was after his performance against Bilal, and he said, "Hey, I want to fight that guy." Like, so they have a level of respect.
Yeah, he's like, this guy's been winning. I don't think he's ever been finished. And on top of that, he equated him to GSP. He's like, he's doing like some GSP shit, like with his like. And I agree, man. Leon is style wise, he reminds me of GSP a lot. I know I'm not gonna say he's as good as GSP or like all that kind of stuff, different eras, but man, he's a straight up mixed martial artist. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Leon is no joke, man. So yeah, they respect certain guys, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the UFC probably wants a bigger name for Nick Diaz's comeback. But as a fight fan and like logically speaking, matchup wise, that is the matchup, I think. Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz.
But if you're the UFC and you don't know how many fights you have out of Nick Diaz, because he's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Let's say that he comes in, gets one fight in, and he's like, I'm done. I'll go back to doing autograph signings at weed shops. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, that's how I met him.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. He's making money off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
showing up late.
If you're the UFC, I'm not gonna risk him giving me one fight only, and it's against Matt Brown.
I think though, if you give him a winnable fight and he comes out and looks good and beats Matt Brown, that long term is better, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he walks away from a Matt Brown fight being like, I don't want to do this shit. I think he's like, I think that's the move. Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz, man, I want it. It's not gonna happen, but I want it.
Giovanna says Nick and Nate Diaz are such G's. That's why everybody loves him, man.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him. They bring it. They bring it every single time. All right. Before that, we had Nikolai. I'm not going to try to pronounce the last name. Versus Kimura.
Yeah. Nikolai.
Nigamurano. I don't think he's Italian, is he?
Anik rolled the R. I don't think you rolled the R there, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
But that dude, I was defeated at that point when I tried to pronounce that name a few times last night, just in preparation for today.
Yeah.
But dude, hey,
what a frustrating
Nikolai
fight.
had a chin on him though.
They both do, dude. That first round was fucking wild.
But in that first round, Kimura was landing the 1-2. He was cracking him, man. Cracking him.
Snapping his head back.
And I was like, how is he still coming forward after that? But this is where the fence grabbing was so frustrating for me.
Yeah.
Because Nikolai, especially in that last round, in the third round, leading up to that last round, he had been warned, I don't know how many times about the fence grabbing.
Yeah.
And he goes up and smacks his hand. He goes, what does he say? Stop grabbing the fence, dude. Or something. And then he finally pulls him off.
Look at him.
And I was like,
what a unit.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, here we go. Deducting a point. This should have been done the previous round. Good job. And then he's like, stern warning with like 30 seconds left or something like that. I'm like, dude.
I cannot believe he didn't take the point there.
Unbelievable.
I cannot believe he didn't do it. Fence grabbing. Man, dude, it's just like so frustrating because think of like the butterfly effect, right? And it's like, you don't know, like they might have tried to take you down and they're like, damn, this guy's strong as fuck. And they not even realize that you pulled the fence a little bit and stop shooting for takedowns. Like it can change so many things, even if visibly it doesn't seem to really affect anything that much. It can change so many things. And it's like, oh, he grabbed the fence there, but he still ended up getting a takedown. Take a point anyways, dude, because that takedown might have landed in a different way that could have set up a position that it didn't end up in. Like, dude, they know the fucking rules. I know it's got to be so hard because you're fighting on instincts. You're not fighting with your mind when you're in there. And instinctually, I would imagine if you're up against a fence and someone's trying to pull you down in the heat of the moment, you grab that shit. I don't want to go down. I get it, but it's never gonna stop if people.
But you know what? You also trained for that.
Yeah, you fucking
multiple times.
This is your life.
For you, for me, if we're in there the first time, we're like, shit, we're about to be taken down. Grab.
Yeah.
Oh man, instinct. But you build muscle memory, training over again when you're in situations like this where you don't have to foul, possibly lose points, and try to prevent yourself from getting these tough positions. It's just so frustrating. And even when Nikolai had Kimura up against the fence, and you see Kimura really fighting to dig in for that underhook, and he was fence grabbing at that point in time too. You know how hard it is to gain better positioning just from getting the underhook with somebody that's pressing up against fence. Now imagine this person also grabbing the fence at the exact same time. You're stuck. Yeah. It was so frustrating.
It's frustrating too because there's certain fouls are different than like there's a level to fouls, right? And there's some fouls that you can consider accidental, like eye pokes or groin strikes, headbutts, that kind of stuff. Those can happen accidentally.
Yep.
And then even with that, if I still think you should take a point for certain accidental ones, right? It doesn't matter if it was on purpose or not. You still have to take a point if it affected the fight. But fence grabs, cage, shorts grabbings, digging your fingers into gloves, that kind of stuff. They already got their warnings. They got them backstage, and they know not. If I know the rules, they know the rules. They know not to do it. If, in my opinion, there's no warnings in the cage for shit like that. There should not be warnings.
It was disappointing because I feel like Beltran's been doing such a good job as of late. He's a good ref. He's a
great ref.
And it's probably because of the fact that I saw Beltran in there that this was happening, where it made it more frustrating for me because I was like, dude, you're a great ref. Like, you're a good ref. What's stopping you from deducting a point right now?
I see a lot of people saying there might be outside influences on that shit.
Ooh. Russian mafia?
Hey, man.
Colombian drug lords?
That's all I heard. But, I mean, at a certain point, it's like, what else is there as like the options for why the point wasn't deducted? Because it seemed like 30 seconds left, you're going to give him the final stern warning. Dude, you smacked his hand away and yelled at him with a yell that could have brought down a mountain. You know what I mean? Like that's enough. That's too much in my opinion. If you have to get to that point, you take a fucking point. They know the rules. They got their warnings. I don't understand why it's so hard to take a point, because I get it. It's such a significant impact on the fight, but at the same time, if you don't take points, people are just going to do it. They're going to continue to do it. I know I get a few warnings here, and it doesn't have to just be to stop a takedown. Like you said, it can be to stop an underhook pummel. It can be literally anything. Like I said, if I'm down on the double leg and I'm not looking upright, my head's buried, and I'm trying to get position and they fence grab a little bit, and I feel like, man, there's a lot of resistance here, and I don't even know that they grabbed the fence, that might like persuade me to not even try to shoot for a takedown anymore and completely alter the game plan. So it doesn't matter if it's...
If you would have gotten the point deducted, would it have been a majority draw?
If he got the point deducted, it would have been 28. Yes, would have been majority draw.
Okay.
Yeah, which I would be okay with, honestly.
Yeah, for that fight, I think it would have been the right thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've already had a little bit of a rant there. It was a frustrating fight. Yeah. Before that, we had Jandiroba versus Murata. Jandiroba, man.
Hell, man.
She's so tough, Jandiroba.
Nasty, man.
I'm enjoying watching her fight more and more.
Dude, that first round, one of the judges, and guess who it was? No surprise. Adelaide Bird.
Oh, Adelaide Bird
is back.
Another terrible judge.
Not just another terrible one. Holy shit. The worst one. What a great picture, though.
Good picture, huh? Great picture.
Knock that eye in place. But
oh, snaps. Adelaide Bird, one of the worst judges ever.
Yeah.
Correct.
That right there, that fucking arm, man. Do you think at that point you stop the fight mid-round?
If I'm the judge,
second-
if I'm the ref, I'm sorry, if
halfway
I'm
through
the
the second.
referee and I see the arm, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because the angle the referee's in, we don't know exactly what he's looking at. Murata didn't tap, so I'm assuming she's fine. I don't know, but for us on the other end, like for me, it was pretty clear that her arm was jacked.
Yeah.
And just like they stopped the fight to go get the cut check by a doctor, I probably would have stopped the fight to have her arm checked by a doctor, and then at that point let the doctor make the call.
Yeah, I could see that. It was frustrating because Jandiroba, I don't know if she didn't recognize it or if she was just still worried about getting too crazy. But man, her right hand, I mean, because of her left being basically useless, she couldn't even bring it up. She was landing her right. Yeah, Jandiroba was landing her right hand over and over and over again, but like not enough to get a finish. She was still like fighting a non-compromised fighter in her mind, it seemed like. And it was so frustrating because, man, every time she would come in, she was landing big rights, but not following up with it. And Murata was eating big shots. And I was like, fuck, man, fucking put her out of her misery right now. Like, at least, like, go hard so that they can call this fight. And props to Murata for getting out of that round.
It was
tough as hell, man.
It was tough to watch, man. And then you see the head kick land a couple times.
Yeah.
The right head with the right leg, and she just didn't have that left arm to block with shit. She was completely compromised on that side.
Yeah.
Whether it was the right hook coming through, whether it was the high leg kick, the head kick, it's just there's nothing she could do, you know. And it was so
I texted
painful.
you, I was like, they better fucking stop this in between rounds. I'm glad someone noticed it. The doctor can get involved. If I'm her corner, I'm calling it. I'm throwing the towel in the middle of the round, though.
Dude, her arm was as useful as Nick Newell's. Actually, Nick Newell's is more useful.
Way more useful
than her arm.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, trying to fight with one arm, and I was like, oh, Nick Newell does that.
Yeah, like that's legit what he does, but he can use it.
He can throw elbows with it. He can at least get it up here to like block some things. Like
she can use it at all.
Couldn't use it at all.
And it was so painful, man, because you see like how much these fighters put into this, and you could see how much these wins mean to them. And so first the doctor walks up to her and she just shakes her head and walks past him. Like, and I'm like, no, Murata, that's not how it works. Like, he's not just gonna be like,
you're in a cage.
She ignored me. Like, you know, I'm just gonna walk out again. And when he waves the fight off and you just hear her like cry, like she just lets it all out.
Grabs a coach and like cries into his chest. And I was just like, fuck, man.
Dude,
it was so bad.
It was so rough for me to watch that part, man. So props to Murata, extremely tough fighter. She wanted to continue fighting with one arm.
Yeah. And she was doing. She lost the first round, in my opinion. One of the obviously one of the judges gave her the first round. Fucking the worst judge in history, but it was competitive. She lost the round clearly, in my opinion, but it's not like she got the shit beat out. Like, it was just scoring wise, she lost that round. But man, she defended the armbar. I mean, ultimately that's what did her in, right? But the fact that she survived it was a nice armbar. She's game, man, and she was talented, you know. So like, it just sucked to see like that. It sucked to see.
And I don't want this all to be about Murata, because Jandiroba, dude, when she came out too, her hands looked so much better than even her last fight. You know, the level of confidence she has in her jiu-jitsu to pull guard when she's up against the fence. You're a guard puller, Will. You always have been.
That's true.
You always have. So frustrating. But
we've had a lot of guard pulling lately.
We have.
Paul Craig,
Olenek. Olenek tried that.
The last Ryzen event, there was some guard pulling. Ended up with a win from guard pull in the main event.
Dude, she's improved so much since her last fight, and she continues improving. Jandiroba, I'm a fan favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
I like Jandiroba.
I forgot she was.
I like her hair when she bounces around and her hair pops in her eyes. She's like a shaggy dog. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to get it out of the way.
Yeah,
I love it.
I forgot.
Look at that. I love
forgot
it.
She was on this card, and when this fight came up, and I was like, was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, Janarova's on this card. I was excited to watch her fight.
She's awesome.
She's a dog,
awesome.
man.
Before that, you know who else I was excited to watch fight? Chaos Williams.
I know, dude.
Chaos
I'm a
Williams.
huge Chaos Williams fan.
Up against Emmelsberger.
Yeah,
Who's
maybe
no
the
punk.
worst. Maybe the worst Superman tattoo I've ever seen.
I thought that was a snake.
It's a Superman shield, and it says semi.
I see what he did there.
Yeah,
I see what he did there.
yeah. Probably not. Probably shouldn't have done it.
Bad life
It's
choices.
bad tattoo. I know his nickname is Semi, right? But like, fucking hell, man, that's bad.
So
And like the fonts, the contrast of the Superman shield is so sick, and then you have just like bold block letters. Like what?
if to this day, if you ask my daughter, who's 9 years old, why did mommy get tattoos? She'll say bad life choices. It's hilarious.
Really?
But that might be one of them for Semmelsberger.
Yeah, man.
Dude, but in the first minute of any fight, who's more dangerous than Chaos Williams?
Fuck, man. Yeah,
He
dude,
is dangerous that first minute.
very dangerous. He needs to work on some things though. For sure. When he comes in, the chin is up. He's swinging from the hips, like below the hips, not like swinging with your like you want to throw it with your hips, right? But he's swinging from his hips. And like,
There was a few of those combos he threw that reminded
this comes
me.
first.
Yep, they reminded me of Ngannou versus Rosenstruck. The
Yeah,
way Ngannou came in with his chin just really high.
Yeah,
You know, hands waving from the hips. Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, very
Except-
similar in his early fights.
Ngannou taps you, and you go to sleep.
Same with Wilder.
You know what I mean? Unless you're Tyson Fury, you just rise from the dead. I can't wait for that fight. Give me Fury.
I can
Give me
wait.
Fury.
It's such a pointless fight.
I love watching Fury fight, though. I don't care.
I know, me too. I'll watch him fight anybody, but like, fuck, man, we were supposed to get him versus Joshua, and that's what
I really want to watch. Yeah. That's what everybody wants to see.
It sucks because the more times they fight, the more chances Deontay has to land that one punch that he needs to land. And it's like, eventually, if they fight 10 times, he's going to land it and put him out. But it doesn't mean shit because clearly Tyson's the better fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why are we giving these fluke punches a chance to land more than we need to? We already know he beat him twice.
Yep.
Fuck the draw. The draw was there just to sell a rematch. Fuck the draw. It was a win. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to see it again.
And all the excuses Wilder makes, dude, it's just so
fucking yeah.
I don't know. But
whatever. Chaos Williams.
Chaos Williams. A lot of combinations thrown at a time. Man, I just thought the fight was closer than most people thought.
Very close. I was worried going into
Semmelsberger didn't throw as many shots, but he was so efficient. I feel like he was just picking his shots more.
There's another time where Dominic Cruz said gun shy. I was like, bro, he's countering very well. Like, why would he want to be first against Chaos Williams? You want him to come in wild so I can land my sharp punches. Like, why are we criticizing him for being gun shy when he's fucking piecing him up? Like, Rich, pull up the picture again of Chaos Williams getting hit for me real quick. Gun shy.
Yep.
You're going to look at that picture and tell me this dude's gun shy? Fuck off, man. He was picking his moments. He was landing his shots. He was countering very, very well. It was a close fight, man. Look, I had 29-28.
You know what Dominic Cruz would be really good at? You know how yeah, he's really good at fighting too. Damn it, I know. No, but you know how sometimes they'll have somebody that sits off cage side, and every once in a while they'll be like, "Hey, you know, like who do they use to do this? Whitman. Hey, Whitman.
Yeah.
What do you think that last round?" And he gives some really technical information in regard to what he saw that last round. I think Dom Cruz would be so good at that. I don't remember which fight it was.
If they gave him, like, you only get 20 seconds, like, otherwise
I don't remember what fight it was that he was watching, and he said they continue circling left, that right head kick is there. And literally, like, 5 seconds later, right head kick, and he's like, I called it, you know,
Yeah.
and
The
this
problem
means
is
like,
he
oh, you
dresses
kind of
himself
do
off a
know
little too much.
some fights, you know, you kind of do know about fights.
Yeah.
But he would be so good at that. Hey, Dom, what'd you see that last round?
Yeah.
So
What are
and
the
so circling
tendencies
off
you're
to his
seeing?
left a lot. You know, I could see that high kick coming in. The work that the corner did was fantastic. Done.
Mhm.
Don't want to hear from him again
Cut
the
his
rest
mic.
of the freaking round.
Cut his mic. Don't
You
let him
know?
keep going.
But perfect role for him. Hopefully,
Yeah, I think so too.
Dana White sees that one day. All right. We'll skip a couple fights. We'll go over Casey O'Neill versus Laura Procopio.
Yeah. This is the controversial one.
Yeah, and this is the first dog of the night that ended up winning. Because
Turned the tide
O'Neill did
after
come in.
the first round.
She came in a dog.
Yeah, she lost the first round, and really like didn't just like settle for that, you know, took her back. Very cool submission. I thought she was gonna go out while they were standing still, and I was like, oh my god, because it was
She would have just collapsed. Yeah,
she locked it in, and she didn't do the grab the bicep. She went past, and I was like, oh my god, that's so hard to do with the glove on. But the fact that she got it through, I was like, that's fucking tight. There's no way she's getting out of that unless she like rolls forward and fucking knocks her out to slam and some crazy thing. But like otherwise, you're not getting out of that. And she starts like leaning, and I was like, oh no, dude, she's about to just face plant from a standing rear naked choke. But at least she made it to the ground before she passed out. But
so cover
tight.
what the talk is about with this fight.
Yeah, everybody's complaining about the way she pushed her off of her, because she ends up on her back with her on top of her, got the choke in, chokes her out. They call the fight. She's just laying there with a lifeless body on top of her, basically. She's trying to celebrate. She just won in the UFC. Obviously, she's stoked, and she didn't push from like the back or the shoulders. She kind of like did this. She kind of like grabbed her head and like pushed her head away first, and then pushed her off of her and just pushed her onto the ground and got up. I can see why people are like, that's kind of disrespectful, a little fucked up to do, but at the same time, they were beating the shit out of each other.
A fucking pillow and a blanket in there. You know what I mean? So that as soon as she passes her out, she like
kiss on the cheek real quick.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, shh.
Yeah.
Like just puts her on the pillow, and like slowly pushes her off. She just got done. It was a grueling fight for her. She lost the first round.
Yeah.
She's super excited. She continues being undefeated in mixed martial arts. She was a dog coming into this fight. She was the underdog coming into this fight.
Won by finish, not just a finish, but fucking choked her out cold. It's fucking dope. I'd be stoked if I did that to somebody.
But dude, she's excited. She wants to get up. She wants to celebrate. The very first reaction is like, let me get this chick off of me so I can go celebrate.
This literal dead weight.
What's disrespectful for me that I think of in something like this is John Jones versus Lyoto Machida.
I don't think that was disrespectful either.
See, I think
what is
that
he supposed
one's
to do?
Disrespectful. Maybe it's because I love Lyoto Machida. I don't know. And maybe it's because I don't like John Jones. It's a combination.
Yeah.
But the
perfect
same
storm.
thing. I don't expect him to lay a pillow out for Machida because he's standing. I guess it would have been rougher if he was. It's rougher because he was standing. I think if they would have been sitting and he did the same thing, I wouldn't feel so crazy about it.
Because it's different because like he's holding him up with a choke. So if he's out, they call the fight. Is he supposed to hold on to the choke longer and let him down? Because you can't let go of the choke and then grab him real quick before he falls. That's 205 pounds of dead weight. You know what I mean?
You know what? You're right, but
it's hard. Yeah.
It's Machida, man.
Walk him to his corner.
Yes.
Lay him down.
Yes. Just like old school, like just body lay across and just lay him down, dude. Put him on the
crowd
chair.
Goes silent.
So dramatic. Oh man. No, but that's it for this week. Was there anything else?
Not really. I did want to talk about Chris Weidman has a new podcast, and his first guest was Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
right before, it was right before his fight that he just had. But super interesting to listen to them talk about the injury together. I recommend anybody watch it because it's like it's such a unique injury, and the fact that these two guys shared the connection of Weidman did it to him, and then ends up happening to Weidman later, and it starts off with Weidman apologizing for celebrating when it happened to Silva.
Ooh, this sounds
It's
deep
fucking-
already.
Dude, it's so deep, and like it just shows you like both these guys are just such good dudes and like championships outside of the sport too. Because he talks about how like, dude, like you went down, and I knew you were in pain, but I thought it was just like my legs fucked. I had to go. I fell because my legs fucked. So he turns around and he's celebrating, and Weidman got a lot of shit. I remember, dude, people were shitting on him for celebrating, but you go back and watch the video, dude. And I even saw the narrative when Weidman broke his leg that people were like, "Ha, funny that it happens to you after celebrating when it happened to Silva." But dude, you watch it and he puts his hands up, he's stoked. He just beat Anderson Silva. And then as he circles around, he sees him on the ground and then immediately drops his hands, goes over there and is like, holy shit, right? And tends to him almost as much as he can. And he talks about how he like apologizes for that. And he's like, dude, that's been like eating at me. Like, and like later on in my career, fans sometimes would want me to like take photos with them of like me checking their leg kicks. And I've always like, I never wanted to do it. But then like the years go by and then we separate time from it. And I start to forget how bad it really was. So like I did pose for a couple of those pictures and he's like, dude, and like now seeing like what you go through after this injury and like what it puts your family through and everyone, all your loved ones. And he's like apologizing. And Anderson's just like, he's like shaking his head. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, what? Like what? He's like, no, like you're in, like people don't understand when you get in there that all of your real world perception of everything is gone. Like you're focused on one thing, everything else, like how to behave yourself, all that stuff's gone. And like hearing them exchange how like that type of stuff is so fucking cool, man. Because two champions, man.
I'll have to check it out for sure.
Very cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Rich, there was something you wanted to show? Maybe? No? I guess not. All right. Well, I don't have anything else, Will.
Yeah, next UFC, next weekend is we're going to pull up the way she pushed her off of her. Yeah, let's see it.
Oh, okay.
It's a little gnarly.
You know what? Listen. Okay. So for anybody that's listening and not watching, we're just rewatching the video here of O'Neal here pushing Procopio off. And you know what? A little rough.
It's a little rough,
but
it goes
heat of the moment.
And what I just said Anderson was talking to Weidman about. You don't have that like those checks on yourself of how you're supposed to conduct yourself in the fight. Like, dude, you're primal in there. Like it's instinct. Like you just won, man. Get the fuck off me. You know what I mean? Like I have no issues with it whatsoever.
Yeah, neither do I. Like I said, she's not going to take a pillow and a blanket in there for anybody she might put to sleep.
Yeah.
And if she did, there'd be so much shit talking that she took a pillow and a blanket in her corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyways.
Next week, fantastic card. Fantastic card. Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov is the main event. Insane fight. Tanner Bozer's fighting again against OSP. Great fight. Andre Fili's in there versus Daniel Pineda. I don't really care about Marquez versus Zechiku. Fucking Zechiku. Maybe I care. Maybe he gets knocked out. Tim Means versus Nicholas Dalby. I'm all for it. The Dirty Birds getting back in there. Renato Moicano versus Jai Herbert. Great fight. Orly Alves is fighting. What the fuck? It's a great card.
It should be a fun card.
Yancy Medeiros versus Dummier Hazelvic. Woo!
We've been looking forward to Medeiros already for some time. Last time we were super disappointed when he was part of the fights that were canceled. I don't even remember exactly what card it was.
But not just that, dude. Yancy Medeiros, Moment of Silence, the biggest hit for Moment of Silence recently. Then Tim Means, for me, the biggest Moment of Silence this card. and they both fight next week. So it's
There we
all
go.
good.
So let's just combine everybody for Will.
Yeah.
It's all good. Man, yeah, but Cyril gone. He's what happened? What?
Javon says my 8-year-old said she got yeeted off. Just fucking.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
But Cyril gone, man. Just still seeing his rise coming through. I know that a lot of people had a lot of shit talking from his last win against Rosenstruck. He did what he had to do.
This
still
is a
somebody
tough
that's
fight.
It's going to be a very tough fight.
This is,
but
in my mind, moment of silence. Number one contender fight in my mind.
He gets past Volkov. That's it.
Dude,
right?
Volkov's
If you're
right
him, what do
there,
you do?
man.
What do you do? Do you wait for a title shot at that point? Because there's still a
think
lot
so.
going on
John
between
Jones, all this bullshit.
Yeah. Ngannou
Yeah.
only wants to fight John Jones in Africa and all these different things, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what
But
happens.
That's all I got this week. Will, you got anything else?
Nope.
Thanks again to everybody that joined us. Again, whenever anybody joins us when we go live, it's just so fun whenever we do anything like that.
It definitely improves the show too, I think. It makes the show better.
It makes it so fun. And don't forget Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button. We also have Story of the Fight chat on Facebook. We have
at Story
Twitter.
of the Fight on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
All good.
And check out some of our old content if you like it.
Yeah, got some interviews, some fighter interviews. Check them out. They're fun.
You know what? I got to go through and just put some work in today and just try to line some more interviews up because those are always a good time.
Camacho, I'd like to talk to again. Hopefully he's doing well. Tim Means, I think I want to try to get Tim Means on here.
Dude, I'll start reaching out today.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
He's busy right now, but we'll see.
We'll see. Appreciate you listening to another week of Story of the Fight, everybody.